Hello, and welcome to Rocket Fuel, your daily update of everything that's happening in the Rocket Pool community. My name is Wack. Today is March 24th, and today's episode is going to cover news of the Cyfrin Updraft course about Rocket Pool. That going live. We're going to talk about rETH in DeFi, the bi-weekly update that we get, the fortnightly update. We're going to talk about the rETH discount. There's some staking news talk, including Lido CSM version 2, and there's some Ethereum news as well. So let's get started.
10, 9, ignition sequence start. 6.
So the only place to start today is with this Cyfrin course going live. So this is news actually from before the weekend, from the 21st, where they said that deep dive into DeFi on Updraft. So they are covering Rocket Pool's rETH integrations course that's live. So you get Programmer Start teaches you rETH. So you learn about staking, yield, options, and rewards. You get do rETH math, DeFi integrations, and restaking your rETH with EigenLayer. And then if you complete this course, it features a special bonus. So here there's the information about it, and the course is about 3 hours and 95 lessons and 4 projects as well. So, it takes some time to do it. And then they said that you can also get the Updraft certification. So Rocket Pool is going to cover the costs of the SSCD exam for the first 25 developers to complete the course and join their Discord. And you can go get that information. So there's a link here, updraft.cyfrin.io/courses Rocket Pool ETH integration, and then you can start learning for free. You can do the whole course for free. It's only if you want to do that exam that then you have to pay for it. So they have guides to understanding different Uniswap versions and how rETH interacts with those. There's like intro stuff and setup stuff, and then with understanding rETH, there's understanding to staking, Rocket Pool, rETH, value of rETH, rebasing tokens. Then there's a quiz. Then actually, let me see if I can jump straight to the quiz. I probably have to sign up. I haven't signed up. Let's test. So rETH token is a liquid staking token. Let's see. That's right. And then what is the exchange rate between? Why is it not 1-to-1? Because rETH is yield bearing token that accrues value. That's right. According to the equation, rETH divided by ETH equals amount of ETH backing 1 rETH. If 1 rETH is worth 1.2 ETH, what is the total amount of ETH backing 1 ETH? That's 1.2 ETH. That's correct. Okay, why does the graph of rETH value over time look like a staircase rather than a single line? Because they're not their rETH is mint value because the Rocket Pool protocol. There you go. Yeah, that's one. That's right. Okay, what is the main characteristic of rebase token? Supply balances change algorithmically over time without user interaction. I think that's correct one. User balances, supply changes. Yeah, that's right. Okay, and 2 more to go. What is the following statement but non-reboost token is correct? The token supply only changes when token minted. You see the token over time. No, the token supply changes automatically without no. They can be exchanged. The token supply only changes when tokens are minted or burned. That is correct. Wait, let me see. That's correct. Users will see that token balance increase over time. No, they don't do that. It's rebasing tokens. Token supply changes automatically without user interaction. So that could happen. Yes. There cannot be. Oh, it's only giving me one. Let me see. Okay. So this is without me taking the course, right? This is just from you, what I already know. So what's the answer here? Which of the following statements about non-rebasing tokens are correct? Yeah, okay, let's stick with this one, A. Yeah, that's correct, okay. And then what is the minimum amount of ETH required to run the validator? Currently, that is 32 ETH to run the validator. That's correct. So yeah, even without doing the course, I'm getting these answers correct. So I'm kind of an expert on staking though, so hopefully I get these answers correct. Oh, that's a trial lesson. I need to create an account. Okay, well, that's fine. But yeah, it's cool. Like the interface is really nice. This is a like this very, very nice interface. They have videos, they have quizzes, they have like all sorts of things built into it. So there's really, really cool information here. So go and check this out. Like go have a look at it, play around. And then, like I said, there's some really, really cool sections here. There's like 90 lessons. So I'm not going to tell you the names of all the lessons, but yeah, it talks through like, swapping using V2, V3, balancer swaps, Aave flash leverage, balancer aura liquidity, rETH, NAV, eigenlayer restaking, and then there's a footnote as well. So there's a whole lot of stuff here that you can go and play around with. It's pretty cool. Okay, we have the fortnightly update from Stake Rocket Pool, and they're doing something really nice this time that I'll tell you in a second. But their shout out to Sleety for making these updates look better. PancakeSwap, as always, is just flying 28.45% APR. That's amazing. OKX and Uniswap still have the special boosted pools where one of them can earn up to 60% APR. So here you can see the screenshots. This is the rETH in PancakeSwap is earning boosted APR of 28.56%. There's a multiplier there of 28x, which is huge. And then this is the wrapped USDM. That's the Mountain USD, I think. And that's rETH. So that's a stablecoin rETH pair. And that's getting 60% APR at the moment, which is a huge amount of rewards. So what's really cool here is that there's this new branding now from Sleety, since the GMC hired Sleety for the protocol. So here it says there's boosted pools with OKX and Uniswap. So the rETH one is earning 12.8%, which is nice on its own. The stablecoin one is earning 61%. Here on L2s, you are earning around 5% on Balancer with so this one is on Balancer on Optimism, you're earning around 5.6%. Balancer on Base is earning around 5.1%. So that's pretty nice there. And then if you want to stick on mainnet, then you've got some nice rewards here. Balancer on mainnet's giving just under 7%. PancakeSwap, of course, is the one that really stands out with that 28% yield, which is a huge amount. And then if you just hold rETH, 30-day average is 2.86% APY. And then post-merge, if you have been staking since the merge, is 3.5%. So it just shows you how much rewards have come down so much in that time. But yeah, this is absolutely awesome stuff. So it's looking really nice compared to the screenshots of the old Google Doc that we had before. If you actually click on rpldefi.com, it will take you to those old Google Docs, so you can still see those for nostalgia's sake. But if you want the nice imaging, then check out Sleety's artwork. It is, as always, awesome. Okay, let's go to the Rocket Pool community now, and we can see that the rETH discount is gone, which is really nice to see. This, of course, as I've been mentioning many times on Rocket Fuel recently, happens in waves. It happens in cycles where, we get back to peg and then no one wants to exit ARB anymore. So people just wait. And then because there's a queue on the second on the primary market for node operators, validators coming online, there's never any liquidity available in the actual deposit pool. So people, when they want to sell their rETH, they do it in the secondary market. As they sell their rETH on the secondary market, what happens is that there is a discount that forms, and people don't like the discount. So some people try to front run it by selling before they get to be a bigger discount, which causes a bigger discount in itself, until it gets to around somewhere between 0.5% and 1%, which is when people start exiting their validators to exit ARB, and then that gets it back to peg, and it's like the vicious circle that we're kind of in right now. But right now, that we are at 0% discount. So if you had those long positions on rETH open, using looping like Contango or whatever, you can walk away with your nice like 2-3% profit, depending on how you did that trade. But that's pretty nice there. So if that's something that you're interested in doing, then definitely keep an eye out on that discount amount. And once it gets to 0.75 or somewhere around there, then that'll be the time for you to pounce on that. Of course, that is not financial advice. You know, this kind of stuff is risky. You can lose all your money that you put in. I am not personally doing this myself, so you know, keep that in mind. But some people in the Rocket Pool community are doing that. So yeah. Okay, let's talk about some client releases. So here we have some staking news. The first one here is from Nimbus, and this is a low urgency upgrade, unless you are on the Hoodoo testnet, in which case it is a high urgency release. So I'll keep that in mind there. And then here we have an update from Aragon as well. I can't remember the last time I covered an Aragon update. Anyway, they have their version 3 out right now, and it says please resync, and they have breaking changes, so there's some information there for you, but it looks like this is a new version that's come out. So if you are an Aragon user, I guess you should upgrade to version 3. Okay, still sticking with staking news here, Dimi from Lido's CSM team put out like a kind of comic about CSM, talking about going from CSM v1 to CSM v2. So they said that CSM v1 has been great, but exposed 2 issues. Some professional node operators are abusing or using CSM to earn more, and it's not ready to scale. So they were kind of like astonished by how it grew, and kind of scared of it too. But anyway, there's some like comics here about Lido curated module and community staking module, and they said basically kind of going back and forth and explaining the different parts of it with this comic analogy. And what's really interesting is that they are talking about different queues now, and different ways that it's going to work, and how well, anyway, I will leave the discussion to the people from the Rocket Pool community. So this comic strip was shared with the Rocket Pool community by Halulo earlier today, and people started talking about it, and Nosho was like, is this dumb? Halulo said partially, and then Nosho said, quoted from the tweet thread saying the main reason professional node operators are joining CSM is the fees are flat 6% versus the 5% they can earn via curated module. And then Halulo says that ignores the bond completely. Nosho says, like, are they comparing someone putting up capital to someone putting up 0% capital? So that's what happens with the Lido curated module. Like, it's curated, right? So only people on their list can enter, and they, you know, they don't need a bond. They don't need to put up any ETH. They just get given ETH by Lido to stake on their behalf, that they then turn into ST ETH on the back end. With a community module, what happens is their rewards are a bit higher, but they actually have to provide a bond. You know, with the first validator, I think it's like 2 ETH or something, 2.5 ETH, and after that it's 1.5 ETH per validator. But then they get 6% rewards instead of 5% rewards. So Nosho says, I don't know if it's an imaginary problem or a real one. If it's real, changing the fee obviously won't fix it. And Halulo says, I think it's a real problem, but the professional operators trying to get into CSM are not going to be the ones in the curated module for the most part. And the comparison isn't real anyhow, because it's not either or. Nosho had a really good point here. He says operators are going to get whatever they can with zero bond, and then as long as they have the capital of their own, they will take the best deal they can get with that as well. So unless they're going to make CSM intentionally worse returns than competition, professional operators will use their funds there as well. Nothing magical about 5% versus 6%. The rest seems fine. But then they also solved the Sybil problem, and the way that they are solving that is, Valdo says, the permissioned portion of the permissionless module. So they're having entry criteria for a set of the CSM to get more validators. So they definitely have an interesting approach to things, and I'll leave that there. Okay, and we're going to end the episode today with some very exciting Ethereum news, and this was from the US Department of Treasury regarding Tornado Cash. And what happened is, for those of you who don't know, the US government sanctioned Tornado Cash contract addresses, saying that this was breaching basically money laundering laws and other things like that. And it was deemed illegal because the idea was like this was only used for theft and nothing else. Anyway, the US Department of Treasury has now gone back on that ruling, and has said that Tornado Cash is being delisted. So, based on administration's review of novel legal and policy issues raised by a use of financial sanctions against financial and commercial activity occurring within evolving technology and legal environments, we've exercised our discretion to remove the economic sanctions against Tornado Cash as reflected in Treasury's Monday filing in Van Loon versus the Department for Treasury. So this was one. There were two cases up against the U.S. Treasury. One of them was from Preston Van Loon. There was another one that included David Hoffman from Bankless, and it looks like this is in regards to the decision from the Van Loon versus Department of Treasury. We talked about this a few weeks ago, that it looked like this was going to happen because the judge was like, "What are you guys talking about? That's not how this works." And now they have removed it from sanctions list. So QW here says time to make privacy apps great again. And here there's official messaging from the Treasury saying cyber-related designation removal, North Korea designation update and removal. So this is Tornado Cash has been removed from the list, and this is the following deletions have been made to OFAC's SDN list. So it looks like some addresses related to North Korea have been updated, and then others have been removed. So yeah, this is huge news, and I think it's absolutely makes sense that this has happened, and I think it was just a matter of time. Now the question is, there are people in the US government who are probably not happy about this happening. These might be remnants from the old administration potentially, and I think you still got to be careful, as a US citizen, to interact with something like Tornado Cash, even though it's not technically illegal anymore. It should be the case that we should all be able to use it openly, private, how as much as we want, right? But I think in using something like Tornado Cash and not providing a full paper trail, it might be that you bring up red flags to something like the IRS in the future or other government entities if the balance of power in Washington changes. So please, interact with it at your own risk. But the reality of it on the ground right now is that Tornado Cash is not illegal. Tornado Cash can be used by any and all US citizens as they deem fit. You put your ETH in, it gets mixed around, you withdraw your ETH, and you're all set. No one knows where that ETH came from, and you're good to go. So there are that's where we stand right now. So it's a huge day. I remember when Tornado Cash was actually sanctioned by OFAC, and it sent shockwaves through the crypto communities. Sadly, it getting listed didn't send jubilation and price soaring in response, but that's just the world we live in now. But I'm going to end today's episode on that note. So thank you all for watching, listening, and being part of the Rocket Fuel community. I hope you all have a lovely day ahead, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye.